Good evening. The region's only milk processing plant, formed as a business by dairy farmers, is in the hands of the receivers. United Milk at Westbury in Wiltshire now owes millions to the farmers who haven't been paid for their milk.
It's the biggest milk processing plant in the UK, producing a fifth of the country's milk quota. This dairy producer who invested in it thought his money was in safe hands. Now he stands to lose thousands of pounds and possibly his livelihood.
Furious, angry. There will be many farmers that will not be able to survive this blow because it will finish them financially and psychologically.
It was hailed as the great hope for dairy producers. After the worst year in farming history, 500 farmers got together in 2001 to form United Milk.
This is the opportunity for us to redevelop the structure of the industry by farmers investing in their own processing capacity. That way they can return greater profits to the farm gate where it belongs.
But that's not quite the way it turned out. Today it's in receivership, and instead of returning profits to the farm gate, over 320 dairy producers are owed £6.4 million in overdue milk money. PricewaterhouseCoopers has been appointed receivers. In a statement released today, the company said it would be holding urgent talks with suppliers and believes that with their support, it has the best chance to try and secure a future for the plant. Independent dairy producers say if United's plant goes under, it will change the face of the dairy industry. Lisa Knights, HTV News, Westbury.
And I'm afraid there's more bad economic news from Wiltshire. Less than a year after making 800 people redundant when he transferred work from his vacuum cleaner factory in Malmesbury to Malaysia, James Dyson is now doing the same with his washing machines. This time it's 65 jobs that are going.
First it was vacuum cleaners, now washing machines. How James Dyson must regret these words standing on the very same production line in Malmesbury 3 years ago.
We want to have them engineered and made in Malmesbury. That's exactly what we want. We don't want to have to go and do it in the Far East or wherever. We want to do it here.
Yet today he told workers that in future washing machines, like the more famous Dyson vacuum cleaners, will be assembled in Malaysia, where labour costs are far cheaper. There'll be just 65 job losses compared to 800 last time, but unions are angry.
There was no consultation whatsoever. He's now under the law having to tell the workforce what he's doing, but he's not interested in hearing alternatives. And that, I hope, is one of the last times that a major employer will do that.
Even after these cuts, Dysons point out they'll still employ 1,200 people here in Malmesbury, a third of them engineers and scientists. But the loss of more assembly line jobs to the Far East sends a worrying signal to British industry generally. Bob Constantine, HTV News, Malmesbury.
As you may have just seen on the ITV News, a teenager from Somerset who was facing 8 months in a Greek jail has been released. Gemma Gunning from Frome was arrested for being topless in a bar in Faliraki after taking part in a beautiful bottom competition. The 18-year-old's parents flew out last night and have secured her release. It's believed they paid a substantial fine to save her from going to prison. A man claims he's living in fear of his life after being wrongly accused of conning his friend into smuggling drugs. The friend is Nick Baker, who's serving 14 years in a foreign prison. Ever since Baker was jailed, the finger of suspicion has been pointed at James Prunier, the man some people claim should really be behind bars. He's now decided to speak out.
This is James Prunier, alleged international drugs trafficker, a former pupil of one of Britain's most exclusive schools, a man accused of conning friends into carrying his bags crammed with ecstasy and cocaine through customs at airports around the world. One of his alleged victims was at his 40th birthday party in Stroud. Nick Baker is now serving a 14-year sentence in a Japanese prison. James Prunier, who returned home after spending 11 months in jail himself, says the accusations against him are false.
The idea that I set him up and would put somebody in prison, a friend or not a friend, anybody in the world, if I would do, the thought that I would do that is, to me, is just the piss.
Only this week, another national newspaper printed Nick Baker's story, stating that the bag he took through customs belonged to James Prunier. Now, whether you believe that or not, and James Prunier says you shouldn't, his story is now being adopted as a simple fact. Baker's mother, who lives in Oaksey near Cirencester, has campaigned tirelessly for her son, who she feels didn't receive a fair trial.
The one thing I will say is that Mr. Prunier is very lucky that he can sit on television and defend himself. My son has not been given that privilege.
James Prunier, who was educated at the £20,000 a year Radley College in Oxfordshire, is due back in court in Belgium later in the year. Richard Martin, HTV News, Stroud.
The disgraced millionaire Major Charles Ingram officially left the army today. Ingram and his wife Diana, who live at Easterton near Devizes, were convicted of cheating in the ITV game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He was told to leave his regiment following a disciplinary hearing. But he's entitled to a £13,000 a year pension after 16 years in the army. He still maintains he didn't cheat in the quiz. That's the local news. Time now to rejoin John Souchier in the ITV studios in London. Night night.